Hello, my name's Tom Timmerman, and it's my pleasure to lead North Park's Refugee Settlement Ministry. For those of you who may not be familiar with our efforts, North Park is registered as a sponsorship agreement holder with the Canadian government. That means that every year we get an allocation from the government to sponsor refugees from other countries and settle them in Canada. I would say the biggest highlight of almost any year is when we get to experience refugees arriving in Canada. It's the culmination of much process and prayer along with a good dose of patience. It usually takes a couple of years from the beginning to the end of the process. Well, late in 2021, we had a family arriving from Malaysia. This new family has settled well and are transitioning into their new life. My second highlight was the privilege of establishing partnerships with other organizations to extend the capacity of our ministry. The agreements we put in place in 2021 will result in 4 additional families being rescued from their difficult circumstances. I absolutely love seeing the body of Christ working together to make a difference in our world. Lastly, one of our more recent newcomer families had their first child. It's such a joy to see the freedom and privilege of Canada extended to a new child that might have been born in much more difficult and different circumstances. It'll be such a joy to see her develop in this environment. Well, I suspect the most common answer to that question is the COVID pandemic. The pandemic certainly slowed down the processing of applications, which was very discouraging for refugees around the world. But it also made things much more complex for the arrival and settlement of newcomers. We received very little notice regarding an arrival and had to arrange 2 short-term accommodations prior to moving the family into their apartment. But most importantly, normally there's a lot of personal interaction with newcomers during the first several months, and as you can imagine, social distancing regulations made that much more complicated and less personal. Well, first, I would say that each of the 3 highlights that I mentioned were answers to prayer, and I would want to acknowledge God's hand in each of those areas. Beyond that, I would say that I often see God working through people living on mission. The key to our success in refugee ministry is what we call host family circles. They are people who give their time and effort to ensuring a caring and successful settlement of our newcomers. COVID made that job much more difficult, but I believe that God was working through these folks on a daily basis. I simply cannot overstate how grateful I am for these people. They continue to be the hands and feet of Jesus.